Hey, everybody, Drew Remenda here. You're listening to another podcast from Teal Town, USA.
Hey, there we go. Sorry, a little late. Technical difficulties do impede us once in a great while, and this was one of those times. Welcome to show 67 here of the Pucknologists on Teal Town, USA. I'm your host, AJ Strong, and joining me, Kid Backhander. Okay, then. And Hockey Jerk.
You all got your wish. The Timonucleosis is back, and I'm suffering, but here I am nonetheless. Hello, family and friends.
See, I thought you would have been still in mourning or shedding a tear or something for Dad.
No, yeah. You know what I say as I put my Sour Patch Kid in my mouth? You gotta enjoy the one day. And then you got to look forward. There's a reason why it's the past, is because you've passed it. AJ?
Wow. It just got deep, people. It just got deep. So, yeah. Hey, remember to subscribe to the cast on SoundCloud or the podcast platform of your choice. If you're on iTunes, throw us a little love on there if you would. If you enjoy the show, subscribe to the YouTube channel and find everything Teal Town After Dark going live and interactive after every single Sharks game. That's on the YouTube, so go subscribe. And hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at Teal Town USA, both of those. Hey, now. Let's do it, kids. If I can find my sounder, we're going to do it.
As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Well, it's time to do that hockey, people. The last time we spoke to you, the Sharks, well, they've gone 3-2 over their last 5. Right now, 39-9-8, good for 86 points. 3 points behind Calgary, but Calgary has a game in hand. Oh, wait, no, they don't, because they're actually losing to Toronto as we speak. Has that game gone final yet, Jerk?
No, there's still about 12 minutes left in the third, and it is 5-1 for your Toronto Leafs.
Oh, hat trick? No?
Yeah, for Tyler Ennis, who was a healthy scratch 2 days ago.
Funny how that works. But the Sharks remain second in the conference, but 5-1, nice. Let's get to the Sharks now. 3 games since we last spoke with you. A 4-1 loss at Boston. A 4-3 victory versus Colorado and a 5-2 victory versus Chicago. We start with Boston, the game where Randy Hahn lost his mind during a broadcast. Don't believe me? Go back and listen, kids, because this was another officiating shit show as far as I'm concerned. We did see the debut of one Goose Nyquist. Debuted on the Thornton line, which everyone seemed to be taking credit for and predicting the obvious. But anywho, Meyer takes a stick to a face, and but let's be honest, this all came down to Kane versus Chara, and Randy Hahn losing his mind. And of course, EK65 tweaking his groin, somehow still allowed to play for a little while. Immediately gets pylon for a goal, and Jones, hello, 875 save percentage. Bruins score 3 goals in 3 minutes and 19 seconds of the second period. So,
I just want to say I'm surprised that we got Goose Nyquist so quick, because usually you have to go through about 3 or 4 Duck Nyquists.
Oh my God! Okay.
Oh, is there a super chat? I really hope somebody donates for that. That was. I'm going to give him money.
I'll be here all podcast.
I'm going to give you money.
That was impressive. I'm not going to lie. How long you been waiting to use that one, bro?
About 29 seconds.
Wow.
Well done, sir. This one's for you. So, again, I don't understand what it is with the Sharks and the Bruins this season. I mean, the officiating just insane. When you look now, do I think the Chara hit is suspendable? I think that's something you can debate. We saw other hits. Wasn't, in fact, Erik Karlsson involved in a similar hit, and he got 4 games?
No, he got 2 games.
Or 2 games, yeah, 2 games. Did somebody do something and got 4 earlier in this? I can't remember. But either way, it just – another year in the NHL and another lack or consistency in inconsistency is what we call the Department of Player Safety. And, of course, Kane finished that game but has yet to return. Sharks played 2 more games after that. But anything else for the Boston game and that 4-1 loss for you, Jerk?
My favorite part of that game was when it was over.
Amen.
Yeah. Not going to lie. Rocket?
Oh, I am fiercely joyous in the fact that the only time that the Sharks will see the Bruins again this year is the Stanley Cup Finals. So, if that happens, that would be hashtag That's So Sharks. But I'm really hoping that doesn't happen.
I'm not. I got to be completely honest. I'm not avert to the idea of a Bruins Tampa Bay playoff series. I think that would be a lot of fun.
I'm avert to any scenario where Boston has the smallest shred of success. So, so there you go.
Nice things.
All right. So we move on.
They are stupid, and I hate them.
There you go. The Sharks.
That Charlie McElroy, didn't he say he hates the Bruins?
He did. He tweeted out like 2 or 3 years before he was drafted that he hated Boston. Yeah. And of course, he deleted that tweet, but screenshots never go away.
Oh yeah. Oh. All I remember when I look at him.
Thank God for that. After finishing a 4-game homestand, the Sharks come back to the friendly confines of SAP Center to play 4 at home, starting with the Colorado Avalanche. They are second in the wild card with 65 points. Coming into this one on a 4-game win streak, Sorensen scores twice for his first multi-goal game. Like I mentioned earlier, no EK9 or EK65 for this one, but Pavelski would score his 36th.
Hey
now. Game-winning goal on a great no-look pass from LeBanc. You gotta, if memory serves, I don't believe LeBanc went to the box in either of the 2 victories at SAP.
Curse is broken.
Maybe it's hope so.
So, I mean, what can you take from that Colorado game? You're getting the victory at not Jones's best game, but you get a victory without, one of your biggest offensive weapons and one of your biggest defensive weapons. So, hey, now balance and the younger guys stepping up.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to the depth of this team. And I'll say it's a testament to the quiet depth of this team. I don't think there's anything about the system that's necessarily flashy. And I don't think that the guys coming up in the system are necessarily flashy, but they can contribute.
Yes, they can. Jerk?
I enjoyed this game because obviously any game where Joe Pavelski scores is automatically the best game of the year. But to see, to your point, AJ, the depth goal scoring, picking up the slack when the top guys aren't there, something Sharks fans are kind of unfamiliar with when you go back 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. So to see Marcus Sorensen get those 2 goals, and I mean they ended up being two crucial goals, because as you know, 4 minus 2 is 2, and that is less than what Colorado had in this game. But it just seems like every year that guy gets better, and without getting too much into it, it almost kind of seems like he's making you eat your words a little bit, AJ, giving you the fork and the knife and feeding you some words.
What did I say?
I seem to recall a podcast about 3 years ago where you said this kid doesn't have it.
Who, LeBanc?
No, Sorensen.
Sorensen. Oh, no.
Year he said that he's has it though.
I very specifically remember going to a game with Rock, looking at him and saying he doesn't have it yet. I did say that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he found it. He found it.
Yeah.
Yes. The flow on point. Still is not the easiest signature to get after practice, but from what I understand. So I won't lament on that. We move on. A couple days later, that rare Sunday matchup, 5-2 victory versus the Blackhawks, who are 4 points out of the wild card. They got a losing road record, but in this one, all fork How about all 4 Sharks lines get a goal? If you kind of take away the line blender, because when Timo did get his goal, he wasn't with the guys he's normally with. But anyway, the bottom, Demon, Dylan, Braun, and Heed all having strong games, along with the 4th line. I mean, Haley gets 2 assists, really. Melker has 2 goals, including an empty netter. And so, I mean,
you didn't see before the game out on Autumn Street, they actually launched a pig across the skyline right before the game started.
I feel like Jerk wrote material before tonight's show.
I must say,
he's fired up.
Well, when you're kind of dealing with a little bit of a bug, you don't really have a lot that's going on because you're just focused on just relaxing and all that kind of stuff. And in a way, it clears your mind because you're just sort of living in the moment like, oh, God, I feel like crap. But in a way, it trains your thinking on the present as opposed to thinking about what you got to do later or whatever. You know what I mean? At least that's how I see it.
Hockey Jerk's so spiritual tonight. I love it.
I am. Mushrooms?
I don't know. The box says Dayquil, so
okay.
I'm really not sure.
For all you know. So a couple notes of intrigue for the Chicago game. Of course, ice is choppy because, it rained. So
it did.
Yeah, reason number bajillion as to why the ice surface wasn't that great. There's always something. It's like, oh, no, the Barracuda didn't play. What can we blame it on today? We all know that local sports talk radio doesn't pay attention whatsoever to the Sharks until the calendar turns to April, and even then it's very sparingly. And here she comes. So KNBR's Bob Fitzgerald, who is a afternoon host on KNBR, and I believe he also does Warriors play-by-play, or so he does something for the Warriors. I don't know, and I don't pay attention, and I don't care. If anybody tells me in the chat, don't waste your time because no one cares. But he shows up to this game, probably the only game he's been to this entire season, by the way, wearing a Blackhawks shirt. So yeah, way to help yourself out with the fan base, as if Sharks fans didn't have enough of a reason to hate KNBR already. The Chicago game was interesting though for me, just because no shots on goal for the first 8 minutes. Just kind of, okay, it took a little while. Probably that bad ice had to get used to it, right? But either way, I thought Nyquist is looking better and better. I mean, Jerk, he's clearly not taking as long to adjust to the system as EK65 did.
No, I think he's thriving under under the system that the Sharks implement. I mean, you have to think back to Detroit. That team has been not very good for about 2 or 3 years now. And not to say that Nyquist is a bad player by any stretch, but he's not going to be your offensive leader. He's not the guy who's going to command the play. And I feel like a lot of Detroit Red Wings, talkers and thinkers and whatnot kind of expected that from him because his rookie season, he was hotter than a August summer day. I don't know. I'm struggling. But
you're starting to fade, ladies and gentlemen.
But he's absolutely. I said it last week too. He's a very solid middle six, complimentary guy who can come in and go about his business and do what's needed to be done. And we've seen that. I mean, in the 3 games or 4 games that he's been with the Sharks, he's already gone from the Joe Thornton line to the Logan Couture line. Despite the fact that he's put up no points, I would argue that there are a lot of stretches where he's been the best player on the ice for the Sharks. And, that can't go unsaid. And I mean, obviously goals and assists, that's all well and good, but it's not the whole donut. It's how you play away from the puck as well. And I think Nyquist, like I said, he's come in and he's done a really good job so far. And I think if we're already talking about how good he is without scoring any goals, just wait until he starts scoring.
It sounds as if you're calling Nyquist like Bodker, but with talent.
No.
Might be good.
Because Bodker was all speed, and Nyquist is a little bit more comprehensive of a player, I think.
Well, way to ruin the joke, Rock. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Reality. Let me slap you in the face a little bit.
Oh, let's go to the good, the bad, and the ugly. For me, top of mind is, Sharks getting Nyquist. Of course, that happened during the last show. Seems to be finding his groove faster than EK65, as I had mentioned. But I'm digging that. I'm also digging the fact that special teams looking better, seem to be more consistent. And in fact, something that I was going to mention later, but I'll do it now. Just over the stretch between the two Boston games, the Sharks scored 7 5-on-5 goals, but 8 special team goals, including 2 shorties.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm digging those special teams. So that's like my, my.
Oh, yeah.
Rocket, what's yours?
Oh, man, you know what? God, excuse me, I gotta clear my throat for this. I feel sort of like an a-hole for saying this, and I'm sorry. But I'm kind of glad that Erik Karlsson is sidelined for a hard amount of time, because him being in and out of the roster, I think hurts the team. And him being out there at less than 100% hurts the team. So I think it's good that they finally just shut him down. And it's a two-parter. So it's good that they shut him down to just, get the hurts the team, but also that the team does well without him, so that like he's not like the golden peg that holds everything together. Like there's a comprehensive unit on the ice, and they're in teal sweaters, and I'm excited. So that's fine.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Jerk, but when it comes to units, I prefer that they be comprehensive.
Yeah. Usually covered as well. But
hey now.
Excuse me. So let's talking about the great man. As you both know, I am Team Chaos. How great is it rather that all of a sudden Kevin Labanc is a great player, and he's setting up goal after goal after goal, and he's got career highs right now in assists and points, and he's passing the puck like a madman. And I'm wondering where everybody who said he should go to the Barracuda is right now.
Oh man! look at dude, jerk bringing like CVS linked receipts today. I like it.
All right, Doug's still gonna find a way to trade him for the 4th.
Well, I'm that's the last time I'm gonna be mean. I'm gonna be nice now. No, Kevin Labanc, great. It seemed to me like he sort of worked through the issues that he was going through earlier in the season. And like I said earlier, offense is, obviously it what helps you win games. And consistently Labanc is getting in on the score sheet. You mentioned earlier his assist on Pavelski's game winner against the Avalanche. And again, another one of those nice passes where you don't see it coming until it's there. And just all around, I think his game has improved massively. And I think he's just going to be another, next man up kind of situation where it's like, oh, this line's not working. Well, we'll go to this line or we'll go to that line. And it's going to be huge come April.
Hey, now. I do want to go to the chat really quickly because I do think it's a viable question. It's from Oscar saying, do you think EK65's injuries will make his salary go down and easier to sign? No. Do I think his value to Doug Wilson goes down? Perhaps. But as we have seen and will continue to see, there will always be that team that is out there and is going to pay the guy more than you will. And let's be honest, there's teams that have to get to the salary floor, if you will. So, and there's teams that have a ton of cash. So,
one of them being Ottawa.
Hey now. Could you imagine him back there? It's like, oh, well, wait a minute. You've gotten rid of everybody that I didn't like. Okay, I guess I can come back to my forever home.
A cat amongst the pigeons.
Oh, man. But
Wow.
I do think it's going to be interesting to see if EK65 does return, and whether that's his choice or the Sharks' choice. Remember, there's a lot of moving components they're going to come to have to be put in motion on July 1st. Let's get to the good or the meh or the,
Hey now.
And hey, Haley isn't the shit show that Twitter panicked about when he returned. I mean, come on. There was even an article that said Haley contributes no offense or defense. He only brings penalties to the table. Why would you do this? How baffling. And, I'm completely just kerfuffled over this. And meanwhile, so far the team is 4-2 with Haley. I'm not saying that that's sustainable, winning 66% of your games with Micheal Haley in the lineup. But either way, it's not like the team drove off a cliff because Haley's played 6 games, Rocket.
Well, he's not a bad player, though. That's the thing about Micheal Haley. He's not a garbage guy. He's a utility player. He's like a journeyman electrician. He's very useful, and he knows his goods. He's just not the flashy superstar player that people like to see traded to the team. But as an asset, I think it was a brilliant acquisition. He already knows the systems, so they don't have to try to introduce him to a new philosophy of playing. He already knows the guys here. He's familiar with the territory. Hey, it's a fast pickup. I was excited when I heard about it.
Yeah. What is your kind of good right now for the week?
My good for the week? I guess my good for the week is that Kevin LeBanc curse seems to be broken.
I will take that.
Yeah.
Jerk?
My good for the week has been your future two-time Norris Trophy winning defenseman, Mr. Brent Burns, Mr. Burnsy. And I'm saying good because obviously he's been good. He's putting up the stats, and the Sharks offense it's cooking up something strong. And as we all know, I love good cooking. But the defensive concerns for me are still there. I'm not a fan of the starfish. I'm not a fan of jumping 12 feet in the air to high touch a puck down, but it's gotten better. And I have not rolled my eyes when he steps on the ice in quite a bit of time, so I think that qualifies as a good.
Take the wins where you can find them, right?
Hey, you know what? If you are what you say you are, a superstar. There you go.
Right. And we finish off with
Really?
And stop me if you heard this before, but I mean, how are the officials able to get away with that BS in Boston? It's 2 separate games, 2 sets of officials, and they all just totally botched the game. I mean, to me, that's the reason why Kane kind of like lost his mind, is because of that hit, and yet the officials did nothing about it. And so Kane was like, okay, you guys are going to do anything? Fine, I will. I got you on this. And so, I mean, it would be nice to at least hear. I mean, we all know that PDB got a phone call like the following day after the Boston game saying, yeah, we screwed up. Don't tell anybody type of, like they can't publicize. It's like, dude, we all know. Just be a little more transparent about it, dude. Like everybody screws up, but I think you might get a little more respect if you just admit it.
They really don't give a. They don't care about the respect of the fans, honestly, because the fans are temporary. They care more about the respect of their peers.
Yeah. What's your kind of really of this week? Yeah, pretty much that.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of one, man. I don't really have one. No, life is pretty good. Like I'm in a really positive place, and I can't think of anything with this team. I'm just kind of concerned that they're not where they need to be mentally with each other. It doesn't feel like they're as tuned in with each other as they should be when they get out there on the ice. And I'm not sure if it's because they aren't capable of it, or if it's just because they don't want to put the pedal down until playoffs.
Could be an issue of pedal down at the playoffs. I think it could also be an issue of they keep having to move guys around because of injury or whatnot. I mean, you got Kane out, 65 out, Radil's in the box right now. You just brought in Haley and Nyquist. So Maybe it's just trying to find that chemistry and using this kind of final 6 weeks of hockey to bring that together. Is that right? 6 weeks? Yeah. 6 weeks feels about right. Maybe 5. Jerk, what's your, what's your, I'm going to be a jerk now. Wow. Wow.
Bravo to you, ma'am.
And we just lost 3 listeners. Thanks, Rock.
You interrupted my shot. Let's go back to point A. No, I'm just kidding. So, all right, my WTF, my good God for this week, Jonas Donskoy.
How did I not see that coming?
1 assist in 9 games, and he's supposed to be this great, fantastical player. I'm sorry. I just looked at my ID. I was not born yesterday, unfortunately.
I'd be interested, and this is something that I would need to study up on, but if the NHL did count tertiary assists, I wonder how many, because we've seen that before, where the guy gets the goal, you have the primary and secondary assist, but those 3 guys, that whole thing doesn't happen unless that 4th guy made the play he was supposed to. I remember that starting a few games ago, there was a goal. I want to say maybe it was by Timo, maybe Couture, but I remember that the whole play started through some great passing, but it started with Burns basically at his own goal line, and he beautiful pass up into the neutral that gets into the offensive zone. Bing, bang, boom. Puck is in the back of the net. That play doesn't happen without Burns.
See, you say you want to see how many tertiary assists he has. I want to see the Yelp reviews for his power skating coach. Because
took a different turn.
My guy, you're in the NHL. You shouldn't be pushed off the puck like you've never worn a pair of ice skates before.
Wow.
Hey now. Yeah.
I think the smoke alarm just went off.
I'm gonna go to a quick comment in the chat from Randy G. Say tertiary assists should not be counted for points, but should be tracked. I completely agree with that. I like that idea.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's an advanced stat person who does track it, and we're all just obtuse to the fact that does happen.
Yes, we are oblivious.
If you're out there,
if you're listening,
send us a page.
Yes. So let's get on to the 3 stars of the week, or what we call.
Oh, good for you.
And Rocket, your star for this week of San Jose Sharks hockey.
It shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. My name is Rocket Backhander, and I'm the Brendan Dillon Fan Club President of North American Chapter. So this week, my star goes to Timo Meier.
I knew we were going somewhere with it.
It's going to Timo Meier. That kid puts a lot of hustle in his game, and there have just been so many times where he's been snake bitten, man, where he's been on that puck, and he's hit a crossbar. It's just deflected off of something, or it's just the goalie makes some religiously outrageous save, but yeah, it's nice to see that kid cash in every once in a while. I love it when it's Timo time. Yeah, so it's Timo Meier. He gets my star of the week. But right. I'm still the Brendan Dillon President fan club. Yeah.
And here's Jerk to take either Pavelski or Couture. Go ahead.
So, when Joe Pavelski was born no, I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
My star of the week, it is Tim Heed. Timmy Heed. Timothy. Yeah, Timothy sounds weird. Okay, Tim Heed, as we've talked about all year, is at one point in time was the 8th defenseman, believe it or not. And here he comes, and it's like, oh my God, Erik Karlsson is injured. What are we gonna do? And then the door flings open, and it's Tim Heed, and he's holding a steel chair, and then he comes out, and hey, now 5 points in his last 5 games. You gotta love the offense from the point, as Don Cherry says, point. But aside from that, the biggest critique of Tim Heed going back to when he was on the Barracuda was that he was all offense, and because he was so impressive offensively that you didn't really look at his deficiencies on the back end. But now what you're starting to see, and I recall this specifically in, I want to say, the game against the Avalanche, where Tim Heed was up in the play. I think he took a shot on net, or maybe passed it to somebody, took a shot on net, and it got blocked and went the other way. And then he was hauling cube down the ice to break up the play going the other way. And just to see that level of commitment to defense after it had been kind of a question mark, it's obviously that kind of improvement is what you want to see from a player who doesn't get to play as lot, because, you're sitting in the press box watching every game. If you're not in that same routine of playing, you're obviously going to get stiffer quicker once you do get back in. But it's also a mental game. It's a emotional game in terms of like frustration or how comfortable you are with your status on the team. And so to see him step in these last 5 games and not need an adjustment period, I think is what's impressed me the most.
Tim Heed came into this like Mighty Mouse. Here I come to save the day. My star for the week, of course, flow man number 1, Marcus Sorensen, takes a puck to the face, gets like 12 stitches or whatever, misses 2 games, comes back, scores 3 goals over his next 2 games. First multi-goal game of his career. Sorensen, as Jerk pointed out earlier, I didn't think you were ready for prime time 3 years ago. All right, you're starting to pull me around.
And his next contract that kicks in is a song. So theoretically, we got 2 more years after this year of some very cheap and very important depth goal scoring.
Yay!
Yeah. So there's your 3 stars of the week, and if you were named one,
Oh, good for you.
Yes. We're gonna try this again. We're gonna see if it works.
It's gonna be wrong. Just deal with it. Well, right. Wrong to you, right for us.
Yeah.
Here comes Sharks Bites, everybody.
Pizza.
Bastards. All right. So far, it's time to put the tinfoil away. And the reason being is because the Sharks at this point, after 10 games in the stealth jerseys, have a winning record of 6-4. With 3 games left, one more win will ensure a winning record wearing stealth jerseys. Put the tinfoil away, people. There is no black jersey curse right now. Stop it.
Just wait until they wear them in the playoffs.
Oh,
no,
not gonna
that's
happen.
not true. That's not true. I think these ones don't have nearly the mojo as the other ones did. I think these ones are clean.
Not gonna happen. Let's get a quick update though for the CUDA. Oh, the CUDA are floundering while others around them get better. This is not good. Barracuda have lost 3 of their last 4, letting in 20 goals during that span. They're currently tied with the San Diego Gulls for 66 points. They're 5 points behind the Bakersfield Condors. Oh, and their next 2 games are versus the Bakersfield Condors. Of course, that 2 of those games, that's this upcoming weekend. One of those, March 9th, Teal Town USA Day at the Tank. And yes, we are giving away those tickets. We will be naming the winner in just a little bit. But on the following day on Sunday, Pucks and Paws. So bring your dogs down to the Tank March 10th and watch yourself a little bit of hockey. I would like to see all the puppers out there. But the CUDA, oh boy. I mean, Jerk, are you able to watch much of this? Do you know what the problem is? I mean, aside from Bakersfield going on like a ridiculous run of biblical proportion?
Well, you asked me, have I been able to see this? And I think the question you should be asking is, do I want to see this?
But Alex True is,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Alex True is single-handedly, at least for the time being, dragging the corpse that is the Barracuda to the playoffs. But
it's a team going into Christmas was like number 1 in their division by like, I don't know, a solid 8 or 9 points, and seemed to be getting contributions from everywhere. And here's Jerk to piss out that fire.
Well, and that's the problem is since then, you've mentioned the last, 10 or so games, they've let in a stupid amount of goals. despite at one point in time having the best goaltending in the AHL this season between Antoine Bibeau and Josef Koronash, but clearly that has faltered. But the high octane offense has also faltered a bit. If you recall, the first half of the season, the Barracuda were winning 4-0, 5-1, 6-2, and now 8-3 loss, 8-4 loss, 4-1 loss. The offense has dried up and the goaltending has faltered, poorly enough at the same time. Usually you see one or the other. That said, I mean, this Barracuda team is still good, right? And they're still, if they can get it in gear, I mean, they're going to have plenty of opportunities to. There's a long stretch of games coming up here in the last 6 weeks or 8 weeks of the season. But with how the AHL works with points percentage and with how it's pretty much jump ball a lot of the year, you don't have the luxury to screw around. And I still think if the Barracuda can, dial things in just a skosh, and get it together, I think they'll be right back there. And, like I said, aside from this last stretch, Koronash has been one of the best goalies all season, and you don't do that by accident. So
yeah, I think as the playoffs get closer, we should hopefully find some time to do kind of more of a deep dive about the CUDA. Maybe try to involve Nick and also kind of get into like the subtle differences, like you're talking about, where scoring percentages and other things because the NHL, I think we're so used to that, and it is a little bit different for the A, so something to look forward to later. Finally, for this Shark Bites, this is something that I've been wanting to kind of introduce, and we started it last week, but kind of the tweet of the week. It was the guy who, if you recall, took a photo of like his 5 Ottawa Senators jerseys featuring players that no longer on the team because they've all been moved to various locations. And this week's tweet of the week belongs to friend of the show, Kevin Kurz. He wrote, Nyquist and Jumbo failed to execute a 2-on-1, but they were both noticeably gassed at the end of a shit. And then he corrected himself after, I'm sure, a bunch of sarcastic responses, and he said, shift. But yes, and who amongst us people at one point or another has not been noticeably gassed at the end of a shit?
Yeah.
I mean, who isn't, right?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
It happens.
So it does. All right. Let's get it around here, kids.
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
Yeah, we're gonna reach around the league. Since we were last on, we had something. I think it was called a trade deadline, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Jerk, your winners and losers from this. And please don't make me have to tell our affiliates we're gonna run long, but wasn't like Zuccarello traded and then like after one game immediately like injured for the season or something?
Yeah. Well, okay.
Here we go. Everybody strap in, kids.
Well, you asked me like 4 questions at once.
I tend to do that.
So, all right, winners and losers. I'll blast through them quick, and then if you want an elaboration, you can check me out on Twitter at hockey_jerk. Winners, obviously, Vegas Golden Knights, San Jose Sharks, Nashville Predators. Yeah. That's pretty much it. At least what springs to mind.
I was waiting for the Jeopardy theme to kick in there for a second.
Trade deadline day is a long day. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I would put. I'd really consider putting Vancouver in my winner list because they got rid of a player named Dolan.
Yes. I will say losers of the deadline. Edmonton Oilers, Calgary Flames, New York Islanders, Ottawa Senators, though all they seem to do is lose. Pittsburgh Penguins. There you go. If you want to know why, like I said, check me out on Twitter. Why
do you say Calgary are losers? Because they essentially just stood pat, even though they're like killing the Pacific Division?
Well, exactly, because you look at the Calgary Flames, yes, they're killing the Pacific Division, but as we saw prior to this last stretch that they've been on, they kind of struggled a little bit. And similar to the Sharks, now the Sharks have been the best team in the NHL since 2019 flipped over, but they still went out and got a piece, albeit a tiny piece, but a piece to help A, keep that consistency, but B, push them to another level. And if you're the Calgary Flames, you know, at least in my mind, I would have been out looking for at least another scoring threat, because they've relied a lot on those top two lines and Mark Giordano. And, you know, all it takes is for one of those lines to get cold and your ass over tea kettle, as they say.
And who amongst us doesn't enjoy a little peace every once in a while?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Where the hell did Jordan Binnington come from? 10-1-0 in February, 144 goals against, save percentage of .945, including 4 shutouts. Who the hell is this kid? And how many people from the St. Louis Blues scouting department have been promoted?
This kid's not at a bus stop. You come here.
I'm gonna do my impression of Jordan Binnington. So ask me again where he came from.
Where in the world did Jordan Binnington come from?
I'm not sure. For those of you who don't know,
elaborate, please.
Go on the St. Louis Blues Twitter account. They posted a video a few days ago. The caption is literally the word "cool," and it's a compilation of interviews with Jordan Binnington. And homeboy is cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
All the time in interviews.
I would have preferred, where the hell did Jordan Binnington come from? I am unsure.
Antarctica.
I think my favorite thing is when they asked him if he was nervous, and he said, "Do I look nervous?" But to answer your question, he, highly touted goalie in their system, and then last year could not find a job. Blues didn't want him. Their AHL team didn't want him. Their ECHL team didn't want him. He got loaned to the Boston Bruins, the Boston Bruins ECHL team. And from what I understand, didn't have the best time there, but, made do with what he had. And now here he is, leads the league in shutouts during the calendar year of 2019, or at least is tied with the league lead in shutouts. And single-handedly, said a prayer to resurrect that St. Louis Blues season. Because if you recall, kids, they were 31 out of 31 on January 1st.
How I'm trying to think of a good example. One doesn't come to mind, but the way he answers questions, it would be really funny if they fashioned like the end of his goal stick and the knob so it looked kind of like a microphone, so he could just drop it at the end of every game. I like that idea. We do have breaking news. Not really sure why. However, it has been reported, and we have seen photos that have confirmed this. Drew Remenda is doing a game tonight, sans tie, sans neckwear. He has invoked, wait for it, #turtleneck99. Just saying, Kevin Lacey, you now are on the clock. You have competition, my friend.
Wait. Drew Remenda is wearing a turtleneck? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. The photo is out there.
Maybe
our NHL ties buddy has photos, has confirmed this.
Maybe he has a hickey that he's trying to hide.
I don't know. I think it's outstanding though.
See, I thought you were gonna say he invoked his NTC, his no tie clause.
Oh man! This is the funniest you have ever been.
Fire tonight, dude. Seriously.
I don't know what medication you're on, but it needs to continue.
Hey, you know what? Holler at me. We're making money moves out here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, drugs forever. You should just stay on them.
We're making money moves, baby. Okay, I'm not going to go to the trash. Come on. Yeah. All right. So Jonathan Tavares, if you didn't hear, got a hero's welcome on the island.
I don't think his mom. I don't think his mom calls him Jonathan Tavares.
I don't even care. But Tavares, oh my God, we don't need you. Go home, liar. I mean, there was just such
Asshole.
And there was just such a. I'll say a couple of them were kind of creative, but man, I got to give it up to Islanders fans. Like, look, there's a debate you can have about whether Tavares was, it's his decision. If you got a problem with it, okay, fine. But at the end of the day, it's his choice. Either way, I got to give it to the Islanders fans for showing that amount of passion, because Lord knows that team has not had a lot to celebrate in quite some time. But they're that passionate. They were incredibly loud. And hey, the Islanders did beat the Leafs that day. So I got to, stick tap to the Isles fans, man. I thought that was hysterical.
Yeah, but you know what? They targeted the wrong guy, because John, and I'm gonna read my riot act here. So John Tavares gives that gives that team, as we're a team, he gives that team, 10 years of his best years. Obviously, he was their best player. He was their captain. He was the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and the owners and the GM, in those 10 years provided him with 0 quality players to play with. So nobody should really be surprised that he wanted to pack up, hashtag pack your shit, and
to you, Commodore,
and get out of there. I mean, like, this is what I will never understand is, why are you going to boo? Why are you going to boo somebody that literally did nothing wrong? Like, and I know we're trying to stay focused here, but I see in the chat, M. Hackle said Isles fans should boo the management instead. I agree. I was hoping they were going to turn their heads up towards the management box and yell asshole up there, because those are the ones that wasted his first 10 years in the NHL.
Well, see, and here for me, this is kind of the bottom line. The Islanders are doing really well.
Mm-hmm.
Like it more than a few times this season, they've had more points than the Maple Leafs, and I would argue that the Maple Leafs have a better lineup.
Yeah.
So, it makes you wonder if it would have what it would have been like. Say that the wheels for the Islanders had fallen off, as a lot of people did predict at the beginning of the season. They thought the Islanders, they're going to miss the playoffs, probably a season or two. They're going to have to replenish, yada, 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 but they're going to have to replace Tavares in some shape and fashion. And instead, what do the Islanders do? They're having a really strong season this year. So it makes me wonder where the crowd would have been if the Islanders were 15 points out of it. If like the Islanders were the Senators right now, you know what I mean?
I would still think that they would be volatile, because then they would say, we could be in the playoffs if we still had you.
Yeah.
I
think it could go either way.
Absolutely. I just think, I don't know. I was going to make a point. Oh, okay.
Wait a minute. Since when are we allowed to do that?
Right. Well, going back to what we were talking about earlier, I think the Islanders are losers at the trade deadline, because they, same as Calgary, they're playing hot right now, and they didn't pick up any pieces to help them sustain said hotness. I really would like them. I really would like to give them the hot rating on Hot or Not, but I'm just not sure.
Wow. Wow. Okay. All right.
I like it.
What's worse, Isles management while John Tavares was there, or Joseph Stalin's 5-year plans?
Wow. Wow. We can tell somebody's history later.
Yeah, it's about that time. Finally, for this one, and this kind of ties in with the whole Tavares thing. If you're going to be one of those fans who is just super bitter at a player when he leaves your team, whether it's Tavares, whether it was Chris Pronger, because I know wasn't if I remember correctly, wasn't there like some bitterness with the Oilers when Pronger went to the Ducks? I remember there being
he was traded there.
What am I thinking of? There was somebody else.
Well,
but either way, we know that there are times when a player, when they return, like, I mean, see, I can't really do with like Billy, or what the hell was Campbell? Soupy?
Brian.
Was his first? Brian Campbell. I don't know why I had Billy in my mind, but Brian Campbell. Brian Campbell played like 22 regular season games for the Sharks. I mean, you can't, there wasn't a whole lot of the fan base who like went out and bought his jersey. You know what I mean? And the same thing with like Ed Belfour. Like, there's not that history there, but I'm trying to think, like, give me something else besides Tavares, like a guy who just played for a long time and left for whatever reason and came back to just nothing but like, oh, F you suck, and blah, blah, blah. But while you figure that out, let me just get to the point that I was going to make, which is stop burning your jerseys, morons.
Oh yeah, if you have a jersey you no longer want, I will link my PO box.
Yeah, I mean, donate it. Dude, just bring it to a game, and if you see somebody who's not wearing a jersey, say, "Hey, you want to wear a jersey? Take this one." Or I mean, just there should be some sort of program for that. Like, even if it's like, I have a jersey that I no longer want. You know what? Take it to the store. And just say here, and just put it like in a lost and found thing or something. Put it in a clearance rack or something. Do something with it. Don't be an idiot and burn it and film it. It just makes you look like a moron. I mean, it's almost as bad as wooing at a hockey game. It's not that.
Okay. Yep.
Almost there.
Log off. Good night. See you later.
Yeah.
To answer your earlier query, AJ.
Yes.
Danny Heatley's return to Ottawa.
There you go. That's another one. You also, I tend to see it a lot. I don't see it as much in hockey. I see it a lot in football, and you see jerseys getting burned, and it's just like, come on, man! Like, just give it to Goodwill or something. If you don't want it, for the love of God, or put it up on eBay for like $8 so you can get enough money to go buy a 6-pack and drown your feelings. Okay?
Yeah.
And don't take that 6-pack and drown somebody else's jersey with it.
Yeah. I mean, at least, if you're going to throw it on the ice, at least that'll get recycled in some sort of fashion. But burning it is just so I'll never get that. But anyway, let's finish it off here. We got 2 more games. 2 more. We have 2 games coming up between now and the next time we speak to you, versus Montreal versus St. Louis on Teal Town USA Day. So the Canadians coming in on Thursday, the Blues coming in Saturday, a matinee. We all know how good the Sharks are on matinee games. Oh, wait. Oh, I thought we already put the tinfoil away when we talked about the stealth jerseys, but okay. Let's see here. Montreal and St. Louis. Jerk. I mean, your take on this, isn't Montreal just kind of like outside looking in? Last time I'm trying to keep up with, I got a lot of stuff. Where are we? Montreal, no, second wild card position right now.
Montreal ne peut pas gagner à San Jose, alors nous sommes bons. For those of you who don't know French, Montreal can't win in San Jose, so we're good. As I've said, we've done this podcast for now 3 seasons, and if you go back to every episode where we talk about Montreal, I say the same thing. Montreal can't win in San Jose. And we're going to see it again. Micheal Haley is going to score. Gustav Nyquist is going to score. And Martin Jones is going to get a donut.
Pavelski is going to get his 40th.
Yep. And as for St. Louis, well,
6-3-1 in their last 10 on a 2-game losing streak right now. Binnington, maybe not as cool as we thought.
Will it be the return of Jordan Winnington? We shall see.
Oh, hey now.
Scoreboard.
Okay. So let's get into it, kids. You came here to find out who is winning tickets, right? Let's be honest. That's why you're all here. So before we went on, I looked up all account, have to be subscribed to our YouTube, and you had to have retweeted using Teal Town USA. And there were, I believe, it wasn't a huge. There's not a lot of people that were evidently interested in tickets. I think it was about 10 of you that actually got in on this, and the winner is.
Do you have the envelope? Oh, you do.
The winner is.
Should we do a drum roll or?
Where is it? No, the winner is Alden Tanaka.
Hey, Alden!
Buddy of the show, we drew the name, put it in the envelope. But Alden Tanaka, at Alden Tanaka, you are the winner, good sir. I have a feeling I'll probably just be able to. Also, I can send you the tickets via email, or I can just hand them to you at Floodcraft at Whole Foods before the game.
I'm waiting for you to pull out an envelope and be like, I have to apologize.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, that was the wrong name.
No. The travesty of it all.
Yeah. So yeah. Good job, Alden. We're gonna hit you up after the show here and figure out how you want that delivered to you. So again, thanks for checking us out here on the Pucknologists. So final thoughts on where the people can find you, Rocket.
Final thoughts. Oh gosh, I love this team. I'm glad that Micheal Haley's here. I'm glad that the new guy, the Nyquist guy, he's fitting into the system. There's hope. I'm sorry that Erik Karlsson's groin is angry and doesn't want to participate. That's okay. He's still going to get paid. Whatever. The rest of this team, on the other hand, is going to go out in the ice and do some work. Hard work. Work in the dirty areas. Yeah. Just like I like it. Sharks hockey. My name is Rocket Backhander. You can find me hanging out on social media, probably saying more than I ought to, because I have like no filter, I guess. I'm like a cigarette that's definitely going to give you cancer. I got no filter. Probably some formaldehyde too. Yeah, Twitter, check me out. That's rbackhander76, capital R, capital B, little backhander 76 on Twitter. I'm taking pictures on my private Instagram account. Well, it's not private, but it's a personal Instagram account. Just stuff I see. Life as a Sharks fan. I have an obsession with teal things. It's an obsession. I'm not gonna lie. And I'm also taking pictures for Teal Town USA. But my little Instagram is Rocket Backhander. One word. AJ.
Jerkman, bring it home.
So, final thoughts. It is Monday, March 4th, 2019.
Donskoy's still a Shark. Wrap it up.
Jonas Donskoy. Final thoughts. I think we're seeing the Sharks finally get back on that upswing again. They had a couple tough losses against the Boston Bruins, and they get good wins over Chicago, over Colorado, and all those guys. I think the Sharks are still one of the best teams in the league, and I think we're going to see that moving forward. Now, where the people can find me. After a win, you can find me crowd surfing at San Pedro Square Market, drinking a keg of beer. And after a loss, you can find me outside the SAP Center banging a wrench on a lamppost. But any other time of the lifetime, you can find me on Twitter at @hockey_jerk, tweeting my hockey thoughts, hockey opinions, hockey gifts, hockey pictures. And if you want to send me an email, hockeyjerk10@gmail.com, if you have any conspiracy theories, trade proposals, recipes, all that stuff, I'll take it.
And I am AJ_Strong, and you watch how fast I get out of here because I've just been notified that there is a car chase in LA. So Hockey Jerk and I are a little addicted to those. If you want to go catch it, CVS on Facebook. So I am AJ_Strong. Hey, everybody. Gonna be happy to meet every single one of you that are coming down for Teal Town USA Day at the Tank. Of course, I'm going to be there. Scout early. Scout, you'll probably be able to find me at Floodcraft prior to the game. That is right next door, upstairs, whatever you want to call it, to Whole Foods. So I'll be there having a beverage, if you will. Then, boom, inside, how it's going to roll. You'll all have your tickets. Once we're all seated in the first period, I'll be handing out the VIP wristbands that get you in to our little after dark show following the game. We'll all hang out in there, have a good time, and then they'll release the hounds, if you will. They'll open the doors. We can go out, watch the Barracuda, pick up our, Shimmick and Hurdle bobbleheads. Is it Shimmick? It's Shimmick, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe. Yes.
Yeah. So get those bobbleheads, watch a little Barracuda, and just have a really good time. And then, as always, Section 118 /218, whatever, the Sharks Foundation kiosk will be there before the game starts and at first intermission. So, all right, this dude is looking to hijack. He's looking to hijack a new car, so we got to get out of here. Subscribe to us on iTunes and SoundCloud, whatever podcast catcher you use. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tealtown USA. Thanks for listening. We will see you all next time for show number 68, I want to say. Sounds good to me.
Melker Karlsson, he hate me.
He hate me, baby. Good looking out. We'll see you next time.
Bye.